morning of day one starts early.
Reveille, reveille, reveille! Get outside of your rooms in PT gear!
After a quick breakfast and medical screening, the 42 candidates hoping to be assigned to a tactical unit must first pass a fitness test. All are pushed to their limits and their pain is evident. With the fitness test complete, the group prepares for more training, but a problem arises. The candidates have left what is called a footprint in their barracks, or gear left behind that can be traced back to its original owner, a major violation in the world of law enforcement.
Straighten your back, son!
And someone must be held accountable.
You on B team leader, you gotta act like one. You better start getting these guys squared away. Because if I lose my voice talking, I'm gonna be real pissed off.
After the barracks are secured, they are taken by bus to the swimming pool for water training. Day one hasn't started as smoothly as the instructors would have liked, and not all 42 candidates will continue on in the training. 2 have already been dropped. Some of the Specialized Forces missions require the use of a helicopter. Because of that, candidates must pass aircrew water survival training. The candidates have already been up for 10 hours, but their day is only half over. Next, it's time for them to tackle the obstacle course.
Let's go. Oh, look at that. That's the technique right there.
We understand it's tiring days, it's mentally challenging, but they're pushing forward, and I think they'll do all right. We got a lot of good guys in there that we love to see in the field. They just got to push through the week and make it through.
Good job. Easy money.
The lone female of the group has found that the challenges she faces are not so different from those of the males.
I think it's built under the impression to be difficult, physically and mentally, and it has been physically challenging.
Also, the mental challenge of seeing 2 shipmates dropped has affected some of the candidates' mood.
I think people were second guessing it a little bit. I mean, just because some people come in here thinking possibly that it's not going to be as rough as what they thought it was going to be, and then it turns out a lot harder.
After the obstacle course, the group heads into the classroom, where they stayed until later that night.
Let's go, get up! 2 minutes.
You guys ready to get the blood going a little bit?
Head forward.
Look where you're going, not at the deck. Look
You
up.
can't see a threat if you're looking at the ground.
You hear gunshot, and you're not looking, but you send rounds down range, and you kill some 6-year-old on a cruise ship because you thought that's where the bullets were coming from because you weren't paying attention.
After a long and sometimes frustrating day one,
Then fall behind your team leader.
the tired candidates march back to their barracks for some much-needed rest. However, with the instructor's goal of keeping the candidates tired and stressed, we'll see how much rest they actually get. Coast Guard Petty Officer Adam Eggers, Pentagon Channel News. Some of the 42 hopefuls couldn't make it through day one. The remaining candidates were hoping for a good night's rest. But those hopes were shattered. The schedule of a Coast Guard Specialized Force can be hectic, and the instructors must test the candidates' ability to work on little to no sleep. The candidates return to the barracks for a few hours of sleep before the 0500 reveille. Today's first challenge is at the fast roping and rappel tower. In the late 80s and early 90s, the Coast Guard started using helicopters to insert boarding teams on vessels, and although it's dangerous, sometimes it's the only way.
Look down. Quarter turn.
The Coast Guard vertically inserts boarding teams during rough seas and for high-interest or non-compliant vessels. The goal on the towers is proper technique and safety.
Relax your grip until you start moving back.
Law enforcement teams use small, portable ladders to climb aboard vessels from their small boats.
Stop looking down. Threat's gonna come from above.
Some candidates had a difficult time with the ladders because they're only about 5 inches wide, with the rung every 6 inches. Their work at the towers is finished for now, but the candidates will return once it gets dark. As a team-building exercise, the group goes back through the obstacle course, this time in teams of 4 or 5. Some groups have a difficult time moving as a team,
Keep on hitting that wire, you guys better help him.
while others use their teamwork skills to make it through.
Oh, he's got it, he's quick at this, watch this.
As night falls, The group makes its way back to the towers. They are tired but pressing on. To keep the training accurate, the candidates will operate in near darkness.
They're doing pretty good. They're learning a lot of new things with rappelling, vertical insertion. We're taking them through obstacle courses, doing a lot of moving. They're picking it up pretty good. You got a couple guys lagging behind, but we're hoping we can catch them up.
As the end of day 2 draws near, at least one candidate is starting to feel the effects of the training, but remains optimistic about his chances for passing the assessment.
I expected it to be extremely challenging, and I'm feeling it. I'm sore, I nod off sometimes, try to slap myself a little bit, drink some water, keep going. Whatever they throw at me, I'm trying to just get through it.
And much like day 1, day 2 ends in the tired darkness of night, still leaving the candidates uncertain about what lies ahead. Maybe a good night's sleep will help. Coast Guard Petty Officer Adam Eggers, Pentagon Channel News.
We're going to check their mental abilities and their physical abilities and run them through it for about 45 minutes. Then they'll go back to bed.
Most of the candidates have been asleep for about 45 minutes.
Get on up! Get on up! You up, guys?
It's been a long day and it's gonna get longer.
Unfortunately for the candidates, the morning chaos has just begun.
Gas cannons! You get those gas masks on now!
Didn't I teach you guys how to put gas masks on the other day?
You're dead! You're on the ground! You're dead! Your gas mask failed you! Get down! You got a dead man on the ground! What are you gonna do for him?
Down for the left, go!
With their masks on properly, the group heads back inside for a written test.
Quick you do this, the quick you go to bed.
The problem is, the test is designed for people with an IQ in the top 2% of the world. The challenge is to at least put down an answer for every question before they can go back to bed. Another 0500 reveille has some candidates on edge. A perfect time for hand-to-hand combat drills.
Get back! Get back!
Here, it's gonna be fast. You can go, boom!
Get back!
This foot always sends back. Back!
Leadership is a key component the candidates must have. On the leadership reaction course, the instructors keep a close eye on who are the leaders and who are the followers.
This is a pretty good time in the week to run this, mainly because they've pretty much are wore out, and the real leaders are going to pretty much step forward.
The candidates aren't the only ones worn out. This instructor's voice is about gone.
I pretty much gave them a fair, stiff warning. You make me yell today, you're going to pay for it.
Working together as a team, each group of candidates must find a way to navigate across their obstacle.
So let's swivel it side to side and walk it forward.
Most times, that's easier said than done. Only a few felt the chill of the water before heading off for weapons training, but they returned later that night to see how the added challenge of darkness changes the dynamics.
3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot.
Day 3 is going well. Day 3 is a very tough day. We obviously stressed them out. They're tired, they're hungry, they're cold, they're wet. Being cold, being dark, it adds a whole nother element out there, especially their minds are stressed right now. They're just, they don't want to fall. They don't want to fall in that water because they know it's going to hurt. It's going to be real painful falling in that water.
No one got wet during the night's training, but with only 2 days left, their chances to prove they have what it takes are dwindling. Coast Guard Petty Officer Adam Eggers, Pentagon Channel News. After a long day 3, the candidates are rewarded with a late reveille. But after yesterday's long day, they hardly look refreshed. After an hour of PT, it's time to head to the shoot house, where students will put into practice what they've learned of the Coast Guard's use of force policy. For safety, the instructors demonstrate proper techniques.
Close in.
Close.
When you're ready to get on your target, you're ready to sight in, you push it straight out, acquire those sights, and as you're going out, you're pulling that trigger. So when you get to here, it goes off.
When the candidates first get into the shoot house, not all goes smoothly.
What are you doing? What are you doing? A meter off his barrel. Do not point that weapon at him. Look that way.
Just a little over anxious and not really thinking it through, rushing my shots. And
Eventually, they get the hang of it, but some instruction is still needed.
When you come in, you button hook around this corner, you don't need to go off this wall. You didn't need to be over here, because you're opening yourself up more to what's through that door, right?
On a strong wall, you do not want to over penetrate. What I mean is, especially in a corner fed, what I mean is you don't want to walk all the way down here.
Right, go.
After 4 hours of training, the candidates head back to the field for more hand-to-hand combat drills. The instructors must give precise directions because any false move by a candidate could seriously injure their shipmate.
You're here, you drop him to the ground. Flat to your back, you all right? Yep. All right, he's flat on his back. A lot of guys will fall like this. You need to jerk him to get up there. You need to stay locked up. You give him any room, he's gonna come unleashed on you. He's got his legs and he's got that other arm to go to work with, okay?
Deployable specialized forces need to be able to operate during day and nighttime conditions. With that, we're back here at the shoot house. And with just over 24 hours to go before the candidate's fate is decided, let's see how they react at the end of another long day.
The darkness and fatigue of day 4 adds a new challenge to the event, but the candidates' performance was much better than earlier in the day. They also take the opportunity of an early night to study law enforcement material before heading off to their racks, gearing up for a 5th and final day. Coast Guard Petty Officer Adam Eggers, Pentagon Channel News.
Stand by out.
Day 5 starts with a bang and continues on through the morning. Enlisting the help of the Army National Guard at Camp Edwards, the candidates are given improvised explosive device training.
Where's it go?
The goal for the teams is to move through the training building identifying any suspicious devices.
If they don't identify them, we blow them off. It's just powder and smoke, and continue on the training to the next one. After we're done going through the entire lane, we bring them out and debrief them, tell them what went wrong, what was good, what was bad, and what they can do to improve. They should come through. Small distraction on the desk there. They'll come through. If they get to this point and don't identify it, they blow off the first IED or improvised explosive device that's laying on the couch. Continuing on, up the stairway. When they get to the top of the stairs, they should acknowledge that they see somebody. This is the lane we want them to go. We have an insurgent or a U.S. military person in clothing back there, yelling, screaming, distracting, drawing them down this way. So they'll come down this lane here, and if they don't engage that person, speak to them, or notify that they have somebody there, we have our first IED here, improvised explosive device.
Make sure he shows his hands, don't get any.
We have a secondary and a third set up here, all along and taped up, just to kind of camouflage it so they don't notice it when they first come in. The last bit of our training here is a suicide bomber.
I think, my opinion, everybody that came through that course today learned something and took something out from it. You know, it's not just ships where the Coast Guard are at. You know, they get on main land, at ports, and it's still a very real situation.
It's more to test their ability to pick up and learn these types of things and see how they react, how quickly they can soak it up, and then that gives us an indication of how well they would be able to do that when they get to their unit or when they go to advanced training.
Later in the day, the candidates are run through what is called the Tactical Olympics, which consists of a variety of hands-on challenges. But since this is their final event, we'll keep it a secret for future candidates. Those who remain the morning of day 6 gathered to receive their certificates of completion. But that doesn't necessarily mean they've been approved for assignment. That comes during individual evaluation boards.
I think you did one hell of a job from the word go. Totally impressed me. My personal opinion of you, and just from the assessment, is you did outstanding.
Congratulations.
They started with 42 candidates, but a week later, 6 requested to be dropped, 2 were released for medical reasons, and 3 were not recommended for assignment. And we showed you a lot, but we didn't show you everything that the candidates went through this week. We'd like to leave some up to your imagination. We'd also like to give special thanks to Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod for providing aerial support,
and to the Deployable Operations Group for letting us follow along. I'm Coast Guard Petty Officer Adam Eggers, Pentagon Channel News.